Hello readers, Teacher Gian here, and welcome to the Read Aloud Library Recommends. So I have been putting off recording this for the longest time, and today I'm actually going to do it. I was actually conflicted if I'm going to take a video of myself, talking and recommending these books to you all, or should I just put like photos of the books. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of photos of the books that I'm going to be recommending. I just have a few. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to just flash some pictures so you have an idea what the book cover and the inside of the book would look like. So if you're ready and I'm ready, let's get this started. I hope you don't mind. I have a script here, which I'm going to be looking at from time to time, but welcome to the Read Aloud Library Recommends. So basically this video, this series that I'm going to be doing is mostly for the parents, for teachers, for aunts and uncles, for godparents, so basically for adults. Okay, so I'm going to be recommending books to you, but with a twist. Okay, so you might be saying, oh, another book reviewer or another person who recommends books. Okay, so specifically these books that I'm going to be recommending are children's books. Okay, I don't know if you've been to the library lately or even inside a bookstore. You scan through books for children specifically, and there are a ton of books for kids, especially if you go to the library. I've been going to the library I don't know, maybe once or twice a month, and there's really a lot of books that I haven't read yet. It spans from different themes and for different ages. So if you as an adult, how are you going to be, picking books like maybe for parents that you would like to share with your kids or you would like to read to your children? If you're godparents or maybe an aunt or uncle and you want to gift a book to your niece or nephew or godchild, what book are you going to get? So that's why I'm here. That's why this video is going to be out. So I will be recommending children's books that I'm going to go to the library and read. But the thing is, I will be recommending all of the books that I'm going to be reading. Yes, that's right. I want this series to not be subjective. I want it to be objective because, there are a lot of books that you can share with children. This might be debatable, but there are some themes that I might not include here because why? First of all, children's books specifically, they teach children values, okay? And that's what we want to be teaching these kids, good values. So personally, that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be recommending books that I believe that are really good in value. I hope this is not like a subjective thing. Hopefully I'm going to be as much as possible objective about it. Okay, so I want it to be like really a standard thing, but like I mentioned, there are some books that I will not be recommending. I'm not gonna say what they are and what the themes are in respect to anybody who has those beliefs or will, stand by those beliefs. But for me personally, there are books or themes of books that I'm not going to be recommending. So I hope that I'm not offending anybody. So I'm just putting it out there. And I just want to be as transparent as possible. So what else? Because I was a teacher. I was a former teacher back in my home country in the Philippines. And you know, these kids, they love like flipping through books, whether it's because of the pictures that they see, or maybe it's been read to them by their parents. That's why they like these books. But I also noticed that in schools, most of the children's books are the famous or the popular ones. So of course, I'd like to highlight or show other books that can be like read to your kid or taught this particular value, because there's another kind of book for it, not just the popular ones. And let's give kudos to these authors. It's not easy to write a children's book, I'm telling you, especially if you're the kind of author that would like to give some value or teach something to a child. So that's the second one. So first, there are some themes of the books that I'm not going to be recommending. Second, because I'm doing this because I want the parents or the adults to have this video to come back to, so that they can like look through, oh, maybe I can give this book, or maybe I can get this book for my child. And thirdly, because I love children's books. I love reading through them. And there's something that I still learn from these children's books, because sometimes as an adult, you would tend to take for granted the little things. But, you know, in a child's eyes, they're like something new, or it's something different. You never should underestimate a child, because, you know, their creative thinking is so vast. And sometimes what they say, it's cute, yeah, but sometimes you get thinking, you know how a child is like, that they're very curious about something. That's why they say that a child's brain, or a child, is like a sponge. They will absorb a lot of stuff in their younger years, especially. That's why it's very important to, choose the right kinds of books to teach them, to add value to them. Because, maybe your child might not remember it when they grow up. Like, oh, do you remember that I read this to you when you were a child? They probably wouldn't. But if there are some values in that story and you teach it to them, you talk to them about it. Again, never underestimate a child. You can talk to them about it, because they're going to have a lot of ideas as well. So a child is never too young to be able to, for you to be able to talk to them. That's why it's very important that we also be careful with what we read to our children. So yeah, basically that's it. So without further ado, let's start my book recommendations for the month of August. Okay, so the first book on the list is called The Three Little Mittens by Linda Bailey and illustrated by Natalia Shaloshvili. So I hope I did not butcher the name of the illustrator. So actually, the first time I saw this book, so when I went in the library, I saw this book. Immediately what caught me was the cover, which I believe most, if not all, would get intrigued or interested because of the cover. So it's a cover of a little girl, and there are three mittens. Two of them are a pair and one is not. So I'm going to be showing you a photo of the cover of this particular book. Okay, so I'll talk a little about what the book is about. So the story is about a little girl's three mittens. Again, three mittens. So these are odd. This is an odd number. Okay, so two of them, of course, are a pair, so they do match. And the other one is a stripe and is left out. So the first two, the pair, the design is dots. Okay, so there's one more mitten that is just stripes. So, but one of the dotty pairs gets lost one day. And other Dottie, the pair that was left, and Stripes get to become a pair and partners. So who knew you can like wear mismatched mittens, right? Okay, then one day the other Stripes mitten turns up. And now other Dottie is left out. Why do you always have to match? So this is one of the most important questions that is asked in the book by the little girl. So she's actually now talking to her mittens. And the three mittens were shocked. Like, we should, maybe in their minds, they're like, okay, we always need to match. You know, it doesn't look good if you don't match. So the question is, can they be a pair even if they don't match? So basically, this story is like, especially if you have kids that are going to school. So many times at school, kids will encounter this kind of situation, you know, being left out by other kids or being included in a group. So this doesn't only happen with, you know, adults or high schoolers or college students. It happens even in school, in daycare, okay, in kindergarten, okay? So I believe this is a great story to piggyback on, talking about this issue with your kids. I know it's not easy. Children, sometimes it's difficult for them to grasp things, yes, but again, do not underestimate a child. They may be able to understand us or whatever we explain, but the thing is, it has to be relatable. They have to be able to see it, visualize it. So that's why I believe this story, The Three Little Mittens, is a very good book to start talking to your kids about this, because they can visually see it in the story about the three mittens. And you know, if you want to even do like a puppet show or something, or you know, get three mittens and show it to them when you talk about this with them, maybe after reading the stories. This book is great for kids ages 3 to 6 years old because they can already understand. That is the first book, Three Little Mittens by Linda Bailey and illustrated by Natalia Shaloshvili. Okay, so let's go to the second book that I recommend for this month. The second book is Up and Away with Little Witch by Lieve Barten. So hear me out. You might say, oh, I don't like this book because there's the word witch. Please hear me out on this. So I'm going to show you the cover first, and I will tell you about what the story is. Okay, so the story starts with Lizzie, the little witch, and one of her friends, Trixie, who visits her. So Lizzie reads Trixie a story about a witch princess. Then they go on an adventure. And on this adventure, they meet three other witches. And I'll stop there first. You know, there are a lot of things happening in the world that are not good, that are negative. We can see it in the news, we can see it in social media. But I think the best takeaway that I got from this book is that there is always good in the world, because these three witches are encountered by Lizzie and Trixie because they were faced with three challenges. And these three witches, they don't know Lizzie and Trixie, but they helped them out. Each of them did something for them, for Lizzie and Trixie. So, you know, this is a great story that you can share with your children, because you can remind them there is always good in the world. We may not always see it, but it is there. And this good is manifested through kind people. In this story's case, three kind witches. It reminds me actually of this act of kindness called pay it forward. I don't know if you've heard of that, but basically that means that one act of kindness done to you, you pass it on to help others and encourage others to pay it forward. Isn't that great? Isn't that great that it's this kind of values that we are able to teach our children, that, your friend helped you and, they're thankful. And what you say is, you're welcome, pay it forward. So you show the same kindness to another person as how much kindness I've shown you. So that's really, really great. And this story actually surprised me. And that was one of my best takeaways from this story. So this book is great for kids ages 3 and up, because I believe you're never too young to learn to pay it forward. And we are at the end. This is the third book that I'm going to be recommending for the month of August. This book, actually, when I was scanning through the books in the library, I came across this and I'm like, oh, that's intriguing. What caught me was the title and the book cover again. So the third book that I'm going to be recommending is My Day, Your Day by Robin Ballard. So I'm going to show you a cover of this book, but if you don't know what this book is, you can actually go to the Read Aloud Library, because I have uploaded a read aloud of this. And if you really like it, you can go and purchase it at your local bookstore. So I'm going to be talking to you about what the story is about. So basically, it's about a day in the life of a parent at work and a child at daycare. Who would have thought that what our kids or the kids go through in daycare, adults actually go through that same thing, but at work? Intriguing and interesting, right? So we usually think that adults and kids do different things during the day, but in this story, you will see similarities of what adults do and kids do in a day. And their representation, like the illustrations, are really nice, and you're going to think, oh yeah, I never thought of it that way. So yeah, so this is a fun story to share with your kids to help them understand that what mommy and daddy does and what you do at daycare is the same thing. That's so great, especially for kids who are like a bit hesitant to go to daycare. You can actually talk about it like, oh, you're going to take care. Mommy or daddy is going to work. We're going to be doing the same thing. And, after you pick them up from daycare, you can like talk about it at home or on the drive home. That is so great, right? So yeah. If you are very interested with that book, again, it's already on the Read Aloud Library's Instagram. I already did a read aloud of it if you are interested to see that. So that's it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this first part of the series of the Read Aloud Library Recommends of the 3 books. I'm going to be flashing it here. And, I hope that this helped you, or you can come back to this video again when you are searching or looking for books. I will be putting out another Read Aloud Library Recommends next month, and I hope that I'm hoping to put out recommending more books as well. So thank you again for watching this, and thank you for your continued support for the Read Aloud Library. Please feel free to share this video and give it a like, and follow us on our social media on Instagram, and we are also on Spotify. So please don't forget to give us a heart if you like this kind of content, and I'll see you again in our next story. Bye! If you like more of this content, you can help us by donating. Any amount you give will go a long way. Visit our Ko-fi website for donations you would like to bless us with. And don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts to be updated with the Read Aloud stories I post. Thank you, and I'll see you in our next story.